Reward points. Okay, this is a marketing add-on that lets you reward clients for scheduling jobs and generating revenue with points. Points are given based on revenue generated, and points can later be redeemed by clients for gift certificates and or cash equivalent prizes. For your sales team, this can be a great marketing incentive for them to push to potential clients. Have you ever posted an invoice without any resource pay tied to it, and then you try and use override resource pay to fix it? In RB8, if no earning is tied to the invoice when posting, then the system will not find the invoice in the override resource pay function to fix it. The workaround for that is to add any service item to that invoice with pay, and then you can see the rest of the service items built on the invoice. Well, in RB9, you don't have to jump through those hoops in order to fix the resource pay. Override resource pay will automatically display all invoices, even those with no resource pay posted to them, so they can easily be overridden. We've added the ability to select multiple invoices and send them via email to a client as one PDF file using the client activity function. In RB9, after selecting the payer when entering a new payment in the enter payments function, the retainer amount will display by default, making it easier for you to know if the firm has a retainer tied to their account or not. When viewing the aged AR report in RB8, you can see periods from current through 120 days and then 180 days and older. There's no flexibility in the report to run any period after 180 days. The aged AR in RB9 can be run with periods up to 360 days. This will give you much more detail with the more days periods listed. Okay, so let's take a look at these now. Do you ever have the need to email clients multiple invoices and they want to receive them as one PDF? Maybe a case is settling and they need all invoices. In RB8, you know there is no way to accomplish this. If you wanted to do that in RB8, you would have to preview each invoice one by one and export them, and then combine them all into one PDF and then email it to your client. In RB9, this process can be done at one time. So let's click on Inquiry and select Client Activity. Let's select the Bergsteiner as our firm. And we're going to say they want all invoices for a particular case. So in the case search at the bottom left, we're going to search for Arend versus Merck. Okay, so now let's click search. So this will pull up all invoices for that particular case. Now what we can do, top left to the left of the invoice number column there, is a check all box. Let's check that. It'll select all invoices. Look over to the right, there's a send invoices option. And this one will pull up a blank email so you can type whatever you want in there of why you're sending them or what they're requesting. And then you'll notice too, below this message section in the attachment is invoices.pdf. So that's one PDF file, everything combined. So we'll go ahead and send that. So let's go ahead and close out of here. So now let's take a look at the retainer showing up for new payments in RB9. When you're entering a payment for an invoice in RB8, there's nothing that tells you there's a retainer tied to the firm's setup. Right now, you're probably keeping Post-it notes on your monitor, or you have some notebook to refer to keep track of that so you don't forget to apply the retainer. First, let's do this. Let's go to Entities and then Firms. And we're going to add a retainer amount for a firm. So let's pull up Pearson Spector. And let's go into their setup and enter edit mode. Let's go to the collections section. So right here, the left, the retainer amount, there is not one. So to add one, you're going to click the View Retainer History button to the right. And here you can actually see the history of all the retainers added and then deductions and how they were applied. So let's click new at the top right. We'll set it to today's date. Say we received the retainer today, and we'll make it $1,000. Normally you could say what a job is for, but we're not going to do that. So now that we have tied this retainer to a firm, let's see how it looks when entering a payment. So let's go to receivables and then receive payments. Let's go ahead and click new at the top right. And in the payer section, we're going to look up the firm. We're going to select Pearson Spector. Now, once you select the firm, notice to the right of the firm name, you will see the retainer amount automatically show. So now you don't have to keep those post-it notes or reminders elsewhere and have the retainers to use when applying payments. If we wanted to use it, payment type, set to retainer, put the amount down below that we're using of the retainer. So we can say we're going to use it all, hit save. RB will now show you a list of open invoices, and we can choose the one that's over $1,000 there if we want to. And then we can apply it. So that's how you would do it. So that automatically deducts from the retainer amount as well. So the last one in this section that we want to take a look at is the aged AR. So let's click on receivables and select aged AR. If you look at the search criteria on the left-hand side, the aged AR now has a number of periods as a search option. The default is set to 6, and the 6, what that refers to is if you look at the columns in the actual report, there's 6 columns there, so there's 6 lines of data for days of period. Now let's go to that number of periods over there to the left, and let's change that to 10. So watch, it's going to expand from the 180 days. So now we can scroll to the right, and there's a lot more data. So we have a lot more periods where we can see exactly how much money is owed. Another nice feature with this particular function is that all the dollar amounts are clickable links. So let's just pick one, and then you see it actually shows you the history. So all the invoices for that period that you chose, which is great.